Tiny discs of copper might look ordinary at first glance, yet hidden among millions of Lincoln cents are two mid-millennium survivors that have rewritten what we thought we knew about minting in the early 2000s. One of these is a 2000 penny whose date punch quietly switched size in an unpublicized moment, creating a stealth variety that even seasoned numismatists didn't spot until years later. This willful misstep never made front-page headlines, but it quietly sent values soaring for those who know exactly what to look for. As we delve into this story, keep in mind that it takes a trained eye and a little luck to uncover genuine examples. When the Philadelphia Mint struck Lincoln pennies in the year 2000, it was more than just a routine production run, it marked the end of a century and the turn of another. The Lincoln cent design had first appeared in 1909, commemorating Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, and by 2000 it had become the longest-running design in U.S. coinage history. Despite minor tweaks over the decades, collectors largely regarded business strike cents as uniform. That assumption held until someone noticed that a tiny punch used to stamp the date on a handful of planchets was swapped for a different size die, resulting in a small date variant that never officially existed. Production records from the Mint indicate that billions of pennies rolled off the presses in both Philadelphia and Denver that year, with the vast majority sporting the familiar large date. Somewhere along the line, probably during maintenance or die replacement, the small date punch was mistakenly mated to the business strike obverse die. Because no Mint memo announced the change, hobbyists had no warning. The result was a batch, likely numbering just in the low hundreds of thousands, bearing a noticeably shorter, more compressed date inscription at the 9 o'clock position of Lincoln's bust. Identifying this variety relies on more than simply counting digits. The small dates, too, has a thinner upper serif, the 0's sit closer together, and the 1 tilts slightly more toward the 9. At normal eye level, these differences are subtle, but under 5 times magnification they're unmistakable. Unlike die doubling or repunching errors, this is a flat, crisp change, proof that one misplaced tool can create a rarity. Even advanced imaging can miss it if lighting and angle aren't just right, making physical inspection by an experienced hand essential. Beyond the small date/large date split, there's an even more elusive proof variety. During the same period, proof pennies were struck with specially polished dies and planchets, intended for collectors. A few proofs somehow received the small date punch as well, resulting in proof coins that combine the high-relief strike and mirror-like fields with the compressed date. Only a handful of these exist in institutional collections and private hands, making them arguably the scarcest Lincoln cent variety of the modern era. Off-center strikes from late-life dies add yet another layer of intrigue. As the dies aged, planchets occasionally failed to seat fully in the collar, resulting in off-center images that reveal part of the rim and a slice of blank planchet. While minor shifts command only modest premiums, examples over 30% off-center can fetch 3 or 4 times face value. Even so, these pale in comparison to the premium commanded by a properly centered small date proof in mint state. Circulated examples of the small date business strike often trade hands for a modest premium over face value, expect $2 to $5 in average condition. Uncirculated MS-60 pieces might range from $15 to $30, depending on eye appeal and coloration. Once you push into gem grades, values climb steeply. MS-65 RD, full red, coins often change hands around $200, and pieces graded MS-66 RD have crossed the $500 threshold at specialized auctions. Collectors prize original red surfaces that haven't faded to brown, making color preservation a vital factor in valuation. High-end auction records illustrate the variety's newfound prestige. In late 2018, an MS-67 RD small date from Philadelphia sold for $2,300 after spirited bidding among 5 registrants who recognized its scarcity. A matching Denver example in MS-67 RD later that same year pushed $1,800, underscoring how subtle die differences drive passionate competition among advanced collectors. Even a single certified specimen in PR-68 sold for over $3,000 in 2021, a remarkable figure for a 1-cent denomination that once circulated by the billions. Value variations based on condition aren't limited to red versus brown, struck sharpness and planchet quality also matter. MS64RB, red-brown, coins with weak strikes or minor planchet voids might languish around $50, while fully detailed examples with no contact marks and blazing red luster command over $600 in MS66. Proof small dates break into their own grading tiers, with PR65 showing acceptable polish lines trading at around $500, and PR70, the perfect strike, often eking above $4,000. Beyond numbers and grades, the hunt for a genuine small date proof has become legend. One collector recalls spotting glints of mirrored fields in a box lot of proof sets purchased at a local coin shop clearance sale. After hours of scrutiny, that single penny proved to be the pivotal specimen that confirmed the proof variety's existence to the wider community. Stories like this underscore how luck, timing, and expertise converge to rewrite numismatic history. For grading, pay attention to die polish lines radiating from Lincoln's shoulder and hair strands. Their presence and pattern can distinguish authentic proof small dates from deep cameo and cameo specimens. Counterfeits, though rare, have surfaced, particularly high-end color-enhanced tokens recut to mimic the compressed date. Verifying through PCGS Photograde or NGC's imaging service is indispensable before committing to a purchase in the four-figure range. An unexpected wrinkle involves the 2000 Lincoln cents reverse. A handful of cents exhibited doubling of the wheat stock motif before the shield reverse was introduced in 2010. While these double-die wheat cents aren't as dramatic as small-date proofs, they add another layer of collectability for those assembling a complete Millennium cent registry. Each of these subvarieties weaves into the larger tapestry of millennial numismatics. Evaluating any candidate coin starts with a loop inspection for planchet lamination issues, stray grease marks or scratches, and obverse die clashes near Lincoln's jawline. Surface quality can make or break a six-figure sale, even for a 1-cent piece. As with all collecting, provenance and documentation, auction invoices, slab certifications, and expert opinions, build confidence and protect value. With the path from a spare change roll to the auction block so well trodden in this 1-cent saga, our next stop shifts focus to another turn of the millennium oddity. A penny struck in 2005 carries its own story of a minting oversight that quietly slipped into circulation, and it too will challenge how you think about value in low-denomination coins. Let's turn that page and see how another simple cent became a prized find. Now let's turn our attention to a penny struck 5 years later that looks like pocket change but can deliver a collector's thrill, the 2005 Lincoln cent. At first glance, it might seem like one of the billions meant to clink through vending machines and piggy banks, yet hidden within that sea of copper-colored zinc are varieties and mistakes that can turn a 1-cent piece into a prize of real value. By 2005, the Lincoln Memorial Reverse, introduced in 1959 to honor our 16th president, had become one of the most familiar images in U.S. coinage. That year, the Philadelphia and Denver mints together produced nearly 8 billion business strike Lincoln cents, while the San Francisco facility added a few million more in special satin finish sets aimed at collectors. These massive production runs were focused on quantity rather than perfection, which set the stage for small errors and unnoticed die varieties to slip into circulation. With such huge totals, chances of finding a mint-perfect business strike are slim, and that scarcity is part of what drives interest in high-grade survivors today. The first thing to watch for on a 2005 penny is the spacing of the letters A and M in America on the reverse. On most wide-spaced examples, these letters sit comfortably apart, but on the close AM variety they nearly touch, creating an offbeat, compact look. Tracking down that close AM imprint takes patience and a loupe or microscope. Without magnification, it's easy to miss the subtle narrowing. In addition to letter spacing, there are double die obverse that reveal ghost-like outlines around Lincoln's portrait, often visible only at high magnification or under oblique light. Some pennies bear faint evidence of a repunched mint mark, first struck with one letter, then re-entered with another, leaving a soft echo of the original mint designation. You might even stumble across coins with die cracks that lace through Lincoln's cheek or fork through the memorial pillars on the reverse. These die cracks, though tiny, can add a collectible twist to an otherwise common cent. Errors go beyond the design. Planchet flaws sometimes yield yellow-toned coins where the coating failed to fully bind, leaving the zinc core exposed in splotches. Off-center strikes occur when a blank sits askew in the collar, producing partial images and uneven rims. In rare cases, clipped planchets create curved, crescent-shaped blanks that turn a penny into a miniature conversation piece. Each of these errors hints at a momentary lapse in quality control at a facility designed to mint coins by the billions. While most find their way to scrap, the ones that survive can land in a collector's set and spark genuine excitement. In everyday pocket change, a 2005 penny in average circulated condition still trades near face value or up to 50 cents if the date and mint mark stand out clearly. Once you venture into uncirculated territory, however, values climb. An MS-60 specimen, technically uncirculated but with noticeable bag marks, might bring around $5, while an MS-63 flat brown example can push into the mid-single digits. Lumped brown pieces in MS-65 are rare enough to command around $10, and when full red surfaces appear in MS-66, sudden jumps toward $20 or $30 aren't uncommon. An MS-67 red-brown coin may sell for $70 or more, reflecting the difficulty of finding a business strike penny so well preserved. Exceptional survivors labeled MS-68 plus full red have even sold in competitive online auctions for close to $2,000, proof that perfection in a low-denomination coin still carries serious cachet. Proof and satin finish varieties carry their own stories. Satin coins from the San Francisco Mint were struck with polished dies and slightly different planchets, intended for collectors' sets rather than circulation. Logic says these would remain safely tucked away, but every few years a satin penny emerges from a change roll or old coin album, surprising its finder. Such discoveries can fetch between $10 and $30 even without a top-tier grade, thanks to the mirror-like sheen that stands out against typical business strikes. Proof pennies, struck with ultra-sharp edges and deeply reflective fields, are a true rarity when they show up outside of proof sets, though those sightings are exceedingly uncommon. Collectors share tales of plucking MS-67 gems from dusty coin-op trays and of spotting close AM examples in bank-wrapped rolls after hours of sorting. One story recounts a dealer finding a clipped planchet 2005 penny still in a customer's jar of mixed change, leading to a quick online sale and a delighted seller who hadn't realized what was hiding in plain sight. Another account describes a group spotting a faint double die obverse under LED lighting at a regional coin show and instantly convening to confirm its authenticity before it changed hands for a genuine steal. Breaking down condition tiers gives a clearer picture of what to expect. When a penny shows heavy wear, labeled good through fine, value rarely exceeds $1 unless an error is obvious. Coins in very fine to extremely fine grades might trade for $1 or $2, especially if surfaces remain intact and details stand out. About uncirculated examples, $50 to $58, values often rest between $3 and $5, reflecting minimal circulation. Uncirculated business strikes graded MS-60 to MS-63 typically sell from $5 to $8, while MS-64 and MS-65 can climb into the teens thanks to rarer surfaces. Beyond that, MS-66 and MS-67 escalate rapidly into the high double digits and low hundreds, and a perfect MS-68 or higher can break the $1,000 barrier. Satin finish and proof misstrikes slot into the lower end of the double-digit range unless they also boast exceptional condition or an additional error. As you handle rolls of Lincoln cents, the 2005 issue reminds us that even mass-produced coins can harbor surprises. A subtle letter spacing variation or a whisper of die doubling can turn a common penny into a sought-after piece worth far more than its face value. For collectors and casual finders alike, the thrill lies in the hunt, whether you're inspecting a handful of cents under a loop or sorting through jar after jar in hopes of unearthing one of these low-mintage gems. Keep your eyes sharp and your expectations bold. In the world of modern pennies, treasure may still lurk in change.